Hey folks, Andrew Schmedeke back here again to give you the tools and the workflows to build your own home studios for remote performances. Today we're going to give you a studio tour and overview of my home studio, something I built in my own living room in my apartment. We're going to talk a little bit about the four main components of what comprises a home studio, and we're going to start off by talking about the camera, which could be an external camera, or it could be something as simple as what's already built into your laptop. We're going to talk about the microphone, which again could be an external high-fidelity capture device, or it could be something as simple as what's already built into your laptop. We're trying to give you the tools here to use what you already have access to in your own homes to actually connect with your audiences, while also giving you the resources and the education to reach out to your local vendors and get equipment that can help you scale up and improve your production design. Back on production design, the third component we're going to talk about is going to be about the scenery, the backdrop, and the costumes you wear, so you're able to make intentional choices that make you look and sound good, while also being mindful of the fact that now that we are inviting the internet into our homes, we are bridging a private space with a public environment. They're able to see into our private lives, and so we need to be mindful of and curate what we put out there. We're able to put at least some sort of barrier between what the internet sees and what we're sending out to the world. And finally, we're going to talk about lighting, my personal favorite part. And speaking of that, thank you to Kinetic Lighting for so graciously providing the equipment to build my studio for this series. Let's get started. Let's get started by talking about cameras. What you need to know about cameras is that, like the human eye, they take in light to record a series of still images. Those images might be played back 24 or 30 times a second to create the illusion of motion, like a flip book. The kind of cameras you can use for your home studios could be something as easy as what you already have on hand with your own laptop webcam. They could be a USB webcam that's a little bit nicer, or something as high-tech as a studio camera. Moving on to microphones. What you need to know about microphones is they work the exact same way your ear does. They're just listening for sound vibrations traveling through the air. For the kind of microphones that you might use for your home studio, it could be something as easy as, again, what's already built into your laptop that you use for your Zoom calls. It could be something that's a little bit more complicated, like a USB input microphone that lets you have a bit higher quality sound. Or you could go all the way out there and get a studio microphone for the best quality. The important thing to think about when you're making these purchases is how will your performance be captured by that microphone? Are you going to be up and dancing around and actually have some distance between you and the microphone? Or do you want to be very close to something that's going to get very high quality audio for a musical performance? When you talk to your vendors, talk to them about the actual reach of the microphone and how far away you'll be when you're actually recording, and they can give you the best tips to find the right products. One quick caveat: if you're moving up to studio quality gear, and by that I mean anything that doesn't have a USB output built in, you're going to want to invest in a capture box of some kind that takes in that signal and outputs it in a USB that you can feed into your laptop. Moving on to the third element, that's going to be your scenic environment and your costumes. What you wear and the space you inhabit tells us a lot about who you are as an artist, and we need to be mindful of how do we curate that world around us. This is important not just in narrative storytelling in the world of theater or of acting or of cinema and film, but also to what we do when we bring a public audience like the internet into our own private homes. We need to be mindful and curate that environment in the same way that I set up the studio. You can see I've got my squid lamp and my mid-century lamp over there as a way to go and show that, hey, I'm kind of a lighting nerd, and I'm okay with that. Some things are better off left out of frame though. Maybe something like this isn't the right kind of messaging for what we're trying to create when we actually broadcast ourselves out there. Some important things to take away though is try and fill your background. Put up some artwork, think about what's going to give you an engaged, active background, think about the clothes that you're wearing and how they're going to convey who you are, as well as make you look your best for what you're pouring out there. And there's a great example of just try it out and see what works. Earlier today I was wearing this shirt, and you can see we got a little bit of a moire effect on here where it just isn't going to actually work on camera. So the big lesson to take away is give it a shot. Record yourself. It doesn't need to go out there. Just see what you look like and what you can try and do to curate and improve your environment and your costumes. Moving on to our fourth component, we're going to talk about the lighting in your home studios. Now, we already mentioned that the camera, like the human eye, takes in light, like your iris, to go ahead and record still images. What we want to be mindful of when we build our home studios is that we balance our lighting and do it with intent. Lighting is pretty cool to me because it's sculptural in nature. Yes, it reveals us to begin with, but it also defines us as three-dimensional objects in this two-dimensional world of interacting through a camera to someone else's screen. You can see that I'm set off from my background because I've got a light that helps highlight and rim me out here. Lighting is great for establishing mood and context. The light for a thunderstorm, lightning-lit night is vastly different than the light for a sunny afternoon walk into the park. The entire time that you're building your home studios, you want to be mindful of shadow intensity. You want to balance your sources so you look good, or otherwise you might look something like this. Till next time, folks.